Welcome to the third and for this semester final Harrison lecture of the term. We are very lucky to have our guest with us today. So each year, through the generosity of Robert and Frida Harrison, the School of Architecture at Mississippi State University is honored to present a series of lectures for distinguished guests, practitioners, academics, designers, and thinkers who represent the discipline of architecture in diverse and exciting ways. Today it is our distinct honor to have as one of those guests, distinguished guests, someone who is returning to the School of Architecture. Bryan Norwood, PhD, is an architectural historian and an assistant professor at the University of Texas at Austin. He is a graduate of Mississippi State University with Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and a Bachelor of Architecture, holds an MA in Philosophy from Boston University, and an AM and PhD in the History and Theory of Architecture from Harvard University. He was a Peterson Senior Fellow at the Athenaeum in Philadelphia, a visiting professor here at the School of Architecture, and a postdoctoral fellow at the Michigan Society of Fellows, prior to joining the University of Texas at Austin as an assistant professor in 2021. His writings appeared in Places, the Journal of the Society of Architectural Historians, Log, Perspecta, the Journal of Architectural Education, Harvard Design Magazine, Culture Machine, and Philosophical Forum, as well as in collected volumes. His research focuses on architecture and building practices in the United States and the Atlantic world more broadly in the long 19th century. He is completing a book entitled Architectural Pursuits, Capitalism, Racecraft, and Historical Faith in the Formation of the U.S. Profession, focused on the professionalization of architecture on the Atlantic coast of the U.S. in the 1830s through the 60s. So please join me and the entire school here at the Mississippi State University School of Architecture in welcoming back to Giles Hall, Starkville, and Mississippi, Professor Bryan Norwood.
All right, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. It's really lovely to see old friends and colleagues. Dwayne, thank you for organizing everything. Thanks to the lecture committee and everybody else for having me here. So I do want to start this by saying in August of 2003, I sat in this room and a historian named Michael Fazio introduced me to architecture and introduced me to architectural history. And it's a real honor to be back 21 years later. So I do want to dedicate this lecture to Dr. Fazio, who taught me a lot about life and architecture. So I'm going to talk about contracts today. Okay, I'm going to make this as exciting as anything has ever been. I'm going to talk about contract documents written in the 1840s. These things, are treated as mundane and boring things. If you're in architecture school here, you will get to fifth year, and I think if David Mockbee is still teaching, he will scare the hell out of you about contracts and about the possibility of being sued. I want to convince you that these are really historically interesting documents, and they tell us something about architects and contractors. They tell us something about the way we are today. And more specifically, I think they tell us about our sets of values and what it means to try to be an architect in this world. So I'm going to go through 4 parts in this lecture. They're each going to get faster, like half the length of the previous one, so don't worry when the first one starts going on. And I want to start off by talking about the kind of practice of complaining about things. So here's something from Reddit 4 years ago.